Hello, folks. This is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers in the drawing on April 21st, 2018. If you want to play my game, Decoding the Powerball, to help assist you in picking your own numbers, then please go to my website at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. I have 7 strategies with my game Decoding the Powerball. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This represents all 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 9, 10, 12, 17, and 23. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list, and then I take the last 3 drawings of numbers and I transfer these numbers over to the game card as red numbers. Okay, so the color code is right here. Okay, so these are the red numbers, the orange, the green, the blue, and the purple. I have 5 different colors, one to represent each one of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So for this drawing here, I have 14 red numbers, 12 orange, 19 green, 16 blue, and 8 purple. And the number of colors change with every single drawing. Okay, so over here to the right is 220. This represents how many color code drawings I kept track of so far. And these are the color code drawings. Okay, so out of this 220 drawings, 116 drawings have come up a 3-color combination. 79 drawings have come up a 4-color combination. 21 drawings have come up a 2-color combination. And only 5 times out of 220 drawings have all 5 colors come up together. And never has it been just one color. Okay, so over here, this number 5, this tells me how many colors just came up in the last drawing. So you can see that there was one purple, orange, green, red, and blue. Again, all 5 colors came up. Okay, and again, that hardly ever happens. Okay, so how I use this game is I try to correctly guess what the next number will be here. Okay, so more than half the time it does come up a 3-color combination. Okay, but for some reason, since this 5 hardly ever comes up, I just have a gut feeling that it might come up again. Okay, so my overall strategy is this. Okay, the overall strategy is to reduce the numbers. Okay, so how I do that is I turn to how all 5 colors hardly ever come up. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these colors won't be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so for this drawing here, again, my gut feeling says that there might be another 5 right here. So I'm not going to guess at any colors. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. And underneath you can see the color code with no pick. Okay, so most times I would pick like no purple, and I would eliminate these purple numbers off of the game card here. Okay, so again, I just have a gut feeling that all 5 colors might come up. So I'm not going to eliminate any numbers right now. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, and how this works is up at the very top is the master for each individual number. Okay, and over here to the right are the numbers that just barely came up in the lottery. Again, it was the 9, 10, 12, 17, and 23. And that turns out to be a 3-group combination. Okay, so I'm going to reduce this down so you can see the whole card and see what I'm talking about here. Okay, so what you're going to see is that there's 7 groups total. Okay, so Group number 1 holds the numbers of 1 through 9, and then it's the teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Again, for 7 groups total. Okay, so there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so 2 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how I use this is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings. Okay, so why I break it down into 5 is for one reason, as I go back into the history of things, I could count really quick as far as 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. Okay, but another reason is that if I see a lot of hits within this 5 drawings here for this certain group of numbers, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, or vice versa. Okay, so that's kind of how I use this. And another way I use it is I could highlight just one number, like this 42, and I could check out how many colors have come up. Okay, so right now you can see a purple and a blue and a purple, an orange, a purple. Okay, so I haven't seen a green here in a long time. Okay, so when that 42 gets into that green area, maybe I'll consider the 42 just because I haven't seen a green in a long time here. Okay, so I'm going to pump this back up. Okay, and another way that I use this is I try to correctly guess what the next number here will be. Okay, so most of the time, it's either a 3-group or 4-group combination. Okay, once in a while, a 5-group will come up, and once in a blue moon, a 2-group will come up, like right here. Okay, so but I never seen a 1. Okay, I never seen all 5 winning numbers land in the 60 area. Okay, so I'm not sure what it's going to be, but usually it's a 3 or a 4. So if a 3 or 4 combination comes up, I think I'll be happy with that. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Actually, I never told you what numbers are going to take off the board, and I'm going to take off the 20 numbers for this drawing. Okay, and the reason why is because a 20 number has hit in the last 7 drawings. Okay. So again, this big square is good for 5 drawings, and you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drawings in a row. There's been a 20 number. So I just think that it's due to miss. So I'm going to take these 20 numbers off of the game card because I just don't think they're going to come up. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card. And I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so when I block out a number like this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the Power Play. Okay, so in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these 20 numbers will come up in the next drawing. Okay, so if I'm correct with my bet and none of these 20 numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 3, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so what I did is I taken all the numbers and I divided it into 4 different groups, and I put colors to these groups. Okay, so when the 5 white winning Powerball drawing comes up, I record where those numbers land within these groups down here in the stats. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Powerball homepage. And again, the 5 white winning numbers that came up were the 9, 10, 12, 17, and 23. Okay, so you can see that the 9, 10, 12, and 17 are all here in the red, okay? And the 23 is over here in the blue. Okay, so as you look down here in the red, you can see that there's a 4 here, okay? And of course that represents that 9, 10, 12, and 17. And over here in the blue, that 1, that represents the 23. Okay, so you can see that there's a 0 here in the orange and a 0 in the green. So no winning Powerball numbers landed in these areas. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so if I could have correctly guessed that none of these orange numbers would have came up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated all these orange numbers and really gave myself a much better chance at picking the correct 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I want to show you how this works here. Now, I got 15 of these option cards, all right? And the reason why I have so many is because I want to give myself as many options as possible to try to guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so my first guess here is option card number 3, no green numbers. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this is because you can see that there's a single 0 here and another single 0. Okay, now every once in a while these zeros will double up, like right here, or even a triple up. Okay, so if you notice in this green column here, as I go down, you can see that there's a bunch of single zeros here. Okay, so as I go back up, I believe there's 12 altogether, and I think that there's going to be I think it's going to double up here, so I think there's going to be a 0 right here. And if that happens, then none of these green numbers will be coming up in the drawing, okay? And I hope that happens. Okay, so I'm going to go to the game card, and I'm going to scroll to the right. Okay, and you can see that all these green numbers are gone here. Okay, so how this works is you can see that there's numbers off here to the side, okay? And as I go back to group 1 here, you can see that there's no numbers off to the side. Okay, so how this works is that some of these, 5 of these numbers actually share a square. Okay, so what I mean by that is that this 58 shares the square with the 68. Okay, and what I mean by that is that if I eliminate all these numbers here, okay, then I'm going to eliminate the 58 and the 68 as a group, okay? And basically that's all I'm doing here is I'm keeping track of groups of numbers and trying to predict whether they're going to come up or not come up in the drawing, okay? So as I go back to group 1 here, actually I want to show you right here, this number 8. This shares the square with the 66, okay? So the reason why I don't have this 8 crammed in here with the 66 is because of the color code. Okay, so you can see that the 8 is orange and the 66 is green. Okay, so I need some separation that way. Okay, but if I decide to get rid of this row of numbers, I'm going to get rid of the 5, 6, 7, 8, and the 66 as a group. Okay, so as I go back to group 1, my next pick is going to be option card number 4, no orange numbers. Okay, so here's the orange right here. Now, the reason why I'm picking this one is because a row just came up, and what this row means is that all 4 colors came up in the drawing. Okay, so I'll highlight that so you can see that. Okay, so all 4 colors got hit, and when that does, I put a row there. Okay, and that just helps me see where that has happened in the past. Okay, so as I go down through here, so a row just came up, and when that happens, usually there's a miss. Usually there's a 0 at some point here. Like Like here was a row, and then over here you can see a 0. Okay, so I think that's going to happen again, and I just think that it's going to happen right here at the orange number. Okay, and one of the big reasons why is because orange just had a really long run of 33 in a row. Okay, so that means one of these orange numbers have hit 33 drawings in a row. One of these orange numbers have come up 33 drawings in a row. Okay, so it's missed a couple of times, but now I'm back up to 12 here, and a row just came up, so I just think that there's going to be a 0 here. Okay, so we're all going to look at this a little bit different. Okay, so you may look at this and you say, well, I think it might be the green instead of the orange. Okay, so that's the whole thing about this. Okay, so again, my gut feeling says that it's going to be the orange not coming up, so I'm going to eliminate all these orange numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so if I'm correct with my pick and none of these numbers come up that I said weren't going to come up, okay, then the 5 white winning Powerball numbers have to be within one of these numbers still left on the board. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 1, and my next pick is option card number 5, no green numbers. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this one is because one of these green numbers have hit 23 drawings in a row here. Okay, so when it gets into the 20s, I start thinking that it's going to miss at any point. Okay, so once it's in the 20s, I always just pick that they're not going to come up. Okay, so I missed 3 times already. Okay, one of these numbers have come up in the last 3 drawings here, so I'm just going to keep on picking that they're not going to come up until it misses. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate all these green numbers off of the game card. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 1, and my next pick is option card number 9, no green numbers. Okay, so here's option card number 9, and the reason why I'm picking this one is much of the same thing. There's a bunch of single zeros here, okay? And I just think that it's due to a double up, like right here, okay? So as I head back up through, I think there's 9 of them here, okay? So I don't believe that any of these green numbers will be coming up in the drawing, so I want to get rid of them. So I'm going to eliminate them off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right. Okay, and this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I'm all done picking from group 1, so I'm going to go off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1 where I divided things into 4 different groups, here I divided things into 8 different groups. Okay, so again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So I know that 3 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it, and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to point out how I use this one as well. Okay, so I'm going to point out this red area. I'm just going to pump this up a little bit here. Okay, so down here is the stats. Now, I have 8 different groups, so there's 8 different colors. And it's red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. And I also have 15 of these option cards as well. So you can see this red area is going from the 1 down to the 57. And over here on this one, option card number 2, the red numbers go from 1 to 66. Okay, but again, I use all the same colors. All right, so I have 15 of these red areas, 15 of the blue areas, and so on. Okay, so all these option cards kind of look the same. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each different option card. Okay, so my first pick here. Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to show you how I use this here. Down here is the stats for the red area. Okay, so this 0 right here means that none of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed in that red area. And this 2 means that 2 out of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed in that red area. Okay, so how I use this is that I like to keep track of every 5 drawings. Okay, and why I do that is because it shows me a majority of things. Okay, so if there's 3 or more misses or 3 or more zeros, I color the background blue for cold. Okay, so if there's 3 or more hits within these 5 drawings, I color the background red for hot. Okay, so as I scroll down through the history of things, because the lottery is so random, nothing can stay hot forever and nothing can stay cold forever. Okay, so when I see something that's really, really hot here, well, eventually it's going to turn cold. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay, and I think it's going to happen right here. Okay, I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, which I think that that none of these red numbers will be coming up in the drawing. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate these red numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll down here. Okay, I got to go back to 90%. Okay, so underneath you can see group 2, option card number 1, no red numbers, and you can see that all these red numbers are gone now. Okay, so I'm off to my next pick, and that's option card number 4, no gray numbers. Okay, so here's option card number 4. Okay, and here's the stats for the gray. And as I head down through, you can see that thing started off really hot, and then it got hot again, and now I think it's going to start to cool off. Another thing, too, is that this is going on a 9-hit streak here, a 9 drawing streak. So I just think that is due to miss. So I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so I don't think that any of these gray numbers will be coming up in the drawing. And that's the 17 to the 20 and the 69 to the 56. Okay, so the only one left here is this 67, and that shares the square with the 19, so I'm going to get rid of both of them. Okay, so you could read underneath group 2, option card number 4, no gray numbers, and all of those are gone. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2, and my next pick is going to be option card number 11, no blue numbers. Okay, so again, all these option cards kind of look the same as far as the colors are concerned. Red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. And again, I think it's going to be the blue section, these blue numbers that don't come up. So I'll show you the history of things. Okay, so things kind of got really, really hot here, and now I think it's going to cool off. So I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so again, I don't think that any of these blue numbers will be coming up. And I think the only one that's left is the 44. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the left now. And you can see that 44 is gone. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2. And my next pick is going to be option card number 12, no gray numbers. Okay, so here's the gray stats. And as I head down through, you can see that things got really, really hot. And now I think they're going to start to cool off. So I think there's going to be a 0 right here, which means I don't believe that any of these gray numbers will be coming up in the drawing. I believe it's the 2 and the 38 here that's left. Okay, so you can see the 2 and the 38. And as I scroll to the left, those are gone now. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2. And my last pick is option card number 14, no gray numbers. Okay, so here's 14. the stats for the gray, and as I head down through, you can see that things got really, really hot. And again, I just think that it's time to cool off. Okay, so I don't believe that any of these gray numbers will be coming up. And I believe the only one left is this 12. Okay, so you can see the 12 here, and as I scroll to the left, that 12 is gone. Okay, so I'm all done taking numbers off the board here. Okay, so I started off with 69 white ball numbers, and now I'm down to 2, and 2 is 4, and 2 more is 6, 2 is 8, and 4 is 12. So I'm down to 12 numbers now. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy to really pinpoint what I think what numbers will be coming up. Okay, so the next strategy is strategy number 5, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. Okay, so how this works is, again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. Okay, so how I came up with this is a couple years ago when I was playing my game here, I reduced the numbers down to 10, and the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed within those 10 numbers. Okay, so when that happened, that's when I kind of said to myself, gee, I think I'm really on to something here, you know? So I only picked 2 correct that day. Okay, but again, this is where I came up with this 50-50 picks to try and help me pinpoint what numbers those will be. Okay, just in case I'm correct with picking all the ones that won't be coming up. Okay, so how I use this is this 265 right here. This represents how many drawings I kept track of so far, and that's since October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, so out of this 265 drawings, 135 drawings have come up a majority of odd numbers. 130 drawings have come up a majority of even numbers. Okay, so again, I like to keep track of every 5 drawings so I can see what the majority is. Okay, and that way it helps me take an educated guess on what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so I have odds and evens. I also have high and low. Okay, so out of this high and low, 129 drawings have been the majority to this red side, the high side, and 136 have been to the majority of the low side. And then I have left and right, 134 drawings have been the majority to the left side, and 131 to the right side. And then I have this red and blue, and 151 drawings have been to this red area, the majority to this red, and 114 have been the majority to the blue. Okay, so I don't like to guess at all of them because I just know that I'll probably get a couple wrong if I guess at all 4. So I only like to guess at 1 or 2, and I'm going to guess at these 2 for this drawing. I think that the majority will be to the right side, okay? And I also think the majority will be to the blue area. Okay, so that kind of means that, well, I guess it could be high as well. But again, I'm just going to pick that the majority will be to the right and the majority will be to the blue area. Okay, so over here, one last thing that I have is this is for the Powerball itself, okay? So this is for that red ball right here. So I do have something for the Powerball, okay? So in this column right here, now there's 26 red numbers total. So in this column, if you see a blue number, that means it's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that means it's high, 14 to 26. Okay, so in this column right here, if you see a red number, then that means it's odds. And if you see a blue number, then that means it's evens. Okay, so why I do this is because I just like to look at the colors now, okay? So when I see a long streak of red here, well, eventually it's going to be blue. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen, okay? So This is what I have for that. And for this drawing here, I think that this is going to be blue. Okay. And I think that this is going to be blue as well. So I think the Powerball number will be a low, even number. Okay. So as I go back to the game card here, I'm going to scroll down. And here's the 50-50 picks. And again, I'm picking that the majority will be to the right side. And also the majority will be to this blue area. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And strategy number 6, picking the numbers I hope will hit from groups 1 and 2. Okay, so I'm going to start off with group 2 here. Okay, so again, I have 15 of these option cards. And I have, they're all the same colors as far as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay. So what I'm trying to say here is that there's 15 red areas, there's 15 blue areas, 15 orange, and so on. Okay. So I like to keep track of that, and I call that the group 2 overview. Okay. So I'm going to go to that right now. Okay. So I call this the group 2 overview right here. Okay, so what you're looking at here is this is for all the red areas right here. Okay, so you can see the last drawing out of all 15 option cards, there was 8 of them had hits to it, and 7 of them had misses or zeros to them. Okay, so in the blue area, there was 6 hits and 9 misses. Okay, so the reason why this is colored red and this is colored blue is because the magic number here is 8, okay? It's right in the middle of 15, okay? So if there's 8 or more hits, I color this red for hot. If there's 8 or more misses, I color this blue for cold. Okay, so now I get to just look at the colors again. Okay, so the ones that really stick out here is this purple. Okay, so you can see that it's been cold for a long time, and now I think it's going to heat up. Okay, so I'm expecting this to be red, which means I think there's going to be a lot of hits to it. I also think that's going to be the same thing with this brown, and I also think there's going to be a lot of hits in the orange area as well. Okay, so as I go back to the game card here, I'm going to scroll to the right. Okay, so you can see lots of hits among the orange, purple, and brown areas of group 2. Okay, so I'm going to have to reduce this down just a little bit. Okay, so that's kind of what this looks like here. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to group 1 here. And the reason why I'm coming back here is I want to show you option card number 11. And why I'm picking this one. Okay, so I talked to you about the rows. Okay, this row over here. I'm over here at option card number 11, and I haven't seen one in a very long time. Okay, so that means that I think that all 4 colors are going to hit. So when I pick my 5 white winning Powerball numbers, I want it to represent all 4 of these colors here. Okay, so as I go back to the game card here, I'm going to scroll to the right. Okay, so this is that option card number 11, okay? And again, when I pick my numbers, I want it to represent these 4 colors here. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 7, picking my numbers. Okay, so I'm going to scroll over to the right. And the numbers I'm going to go with for this drawing are the 3, 5, 16, 42, and 47. Okay, so with this combination of numbers, this will give me 8 hits, 7 misses in the orange area, 8 hits, 7 misses in the purple area, and 9 hits, 6 misses in that brown area. Okay, so as I was going to go back, but I'll just go back to over here, this option card number 11. Okay, so again, the 3 is red, the 5 is green, the 16 is orange, and the 47 is blue, okay? And the 42 is another green one. But I hit all 4 colors like I wanted to, okay? And in the color code combination, the first thing that we started out with, I said that I thought it might be all 5 colors again. So you can see that it's the 3 is green, the 5 is purple, the 16 is red, the 47 is blue, and the 42 is orange for all 5 colors again. Okay, so that's how I came up with this. Okay, so again, we're all going to look at this a little bit different, you know. So you might come up with different numbers. Okay, so again, the numbers that I'm going to go with is 3, 5, 16, 42, and 47. Okay, folks, I appreciate you watching today. If you're interested in using my game, then please go to my website at www.patreon.com/decoding the Powerball. Okay, and if you have any feedback, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Okay, so again, there's no the in here. It's just decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Again, folks, I appreciate you watching. If you like the content of my channel, then please subscribe. And as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.